What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to cover how to stop repeating the same mistakes. So I really wanted to make this video because I've been through this so many times and it always creeps back into my life. And this literally happened again to me last week, and I was about to make the same mistake I was making in the past. So I'm going to share with you exactly what I did to overcome this and what you can do whenever this creeps back into your life, or if it's something that's constantly reoccurring. But before we dive into the video, if you could hit that subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated, as it greatly helps my channel out, and it also increases my reach to new potential viewers so we could help them out as well. So first things first, when it comes to not repeating the same mistakes, is you gotta know who you are as a person. Most of us go through life without ever knowing who we truly are. This might sound crazy to some people, but if you really think about it, all of our beliefs, the way we act, the things we claim we like, the job we chose, are all based upon our life experiences, what people around us have said, what our parents have said. Your friends greatly impact your decisions as well. Nothing's ever truly been you. So let me give you an example. Everyone I know personally, and myself included, unfortunately, when I first hit high school, I saw everyone was listening to rap and hip hop, and I was more of a pop guy, as you can see on my current playlist. And obviously, based on the belief that hip hop and rap was cool and the other genres were girly and cringe, I myself, just like everybody else there, started listening to rap and hip hop. Even though it might not have been their preferred genre, it might not even been a genre they liked at all, but they forced it upon themselves. And that's why you would see every single kid in high school listening to rap and hip hop. So I did this for basically my whole high school period. And then I eventually, I did the inner work and I realized that's not who I am. And that was just a belief latched on to me by wanting to feel like I belong to something. And that's what I feel like it's like for a lot of people. Obviously, this is just one example I'm giving you guys. I could give a million, but that's just the first one that popped in my head. Also, more often than not, you study and pursue a career that your parents imposed on you or the system imposed on you, which, I also did this. This is why I can speak on all of these experiences, because I've been there. And let me tell you, it never works out. If you're somebody that truly, everyone has a purpose. You just got to find what that purpose is for you. And when you pursue something that does not feel right or isn't your purpose, you're going to be miserable. So I studied computer science, but I didn't give a shit about computers or programming or any of that stuff for that matter. I was just doing it because my parents told me it would make me good money. My friends were doing it, so I was like, okay, I'll have friends in the program. And, I had to study. They told me you can't just take a year off like some of my friends were doing, and I just had to get straight into university or college. So, pushed by that decision, I got right into what they asked me to do. And guess what? I dropped out after I made it through halfway of the first semester, and I was like, no, this shit's not for me. I'm honestly not doing this. And just like that, I dropped out. Another example I want to give you guys, just because this one's the most common, is drinking, doing drugs, and all of these things that you see most kids doing nowadays, even like vaping and smoking. I wouldn't want to say no one, because there are the odd one out, but most people don't actually have the intent on doing this. And had they not been under the influence of other people their age doing it, or wanting to fit in or be perceived as cool, they would never have taken it upon themselves to do it. So to give you more context on this, because I know I described it kind of vaguely. So if you didn't have friends to impress and it was just you probably wouldn't have started smoking. But since your friends are doing it and like the cool group is at the smoker's corner or whatever, and you want to join them because you think it's going to make you look badass or get you that girl, then you just proved that it's not something you identify with. It's something you want to identify with because you think it's going to help you fit in. So you're not being true to yourself. Okay, now that I got my little rant out of the way, I'll give you some backstory on mistakes I was repeating, because it seems like we kind of took a detour from the whole topic of the thing. So obviously I've explained in my previous videos that I have problems with gaming addiction. So I can't do things for an hour. I'll either do it for 3+ hours or I just won't do it at all. And usually it's better for me not to do it at all. But sometimes, you know, a lot of people my age game and they try to always get me back into it. And I'm always like, no, I know it's bad for me. I know I can't control it. But the urge creeps in every now and then. And then last week I was like, okay, let me just download a mobile game. It's not that harmful. But you yourself, when you've done the work, you know yourself. So then you know what the outcome is going to be. And I even told myself, I was like, if I download it, I know I'm not going to be able to limit myself. And I still downloaded it. Okay. I know. And then obviously I didn't limit myself the first day. So I was like, okay, let me give it another day. You know, that's what addicts usually say. And then I gave it another day, still didn't limit myself. So what did I do? I deleted the game. I don't care how much progress I made, because I actually made a fair amount of progress considering the amount of hours I spent on it during the first 2 days. But anyways, I eliminated it. And see, the thing is, when you've done the work and you know who you are, you know the outcome of the situation. And when you know the outcome of the situation, it's gonna stop you from repeating that mistake. Sure, it might not do it right away. As you saw for me, I struggled in the beginning. I still made the wrong decision, but I recovered relatively quickly. It only lasted 2 days. I didn't hop back into a loop of months or weeks of repeating that mistake. So now you probably want to know, obviously, how do you get to know yourself better? So the short answer is shadow work. And I brought my diary with all my questions on it, just to give you guys some examples. But before I go over them, I'm just going to obviously explain what shadow work is. So shadow work, I personally perceive it as self-therapy, because these are essentially questions your therapist would ask you. And you got to understand that these might trigger some past memories that are unfavorable, or whatever you want to say. Like, it could re-trigger scenarios you did not want to re-trigger, basically, because you're peering back into the past. They're just personal questions that dive deep into who you are and why you feel certain ways. So to give you an example question, here's a good one. What is your relationship with your parents like? What resentment do you hold against them, and why? And you can answer that question however you feel is right for you. But be completely honest with yourself. Be true to what you're saying so you can actually understand why it is that you feel that way about your parents or about anything really, and just write it down. Another good one I have on here is, where are you hardest on yourself? Why do you put yourself under so much pressure? Who are you still trying to please by doing so? So obviously this is a self-reflection question on why you're putting so much pressure on yourself. This is a very good one to ask yourself, because you might not even be putting pressure on yourself at all, and you can write about that. It doesn't have to be like word for word what the question is asking. Sometimes you can kind of work around it, but still answer the core message of that question. Now I'm going to give you 2 more that I think you should absolutely do after this video. And then I'm also going to give you the places where you can find these questions, so you can work on this on your own time and really work on yourself. So a really important one is, how do you process your emotions? What prevents you from fully allowing yourself to feel every emotion you experience, such as anger, sadness? And the other question is, what causes you to overthink something you said to somebody? Is it shame, guilt, etc.? If you apologized, do you think it would help both of you? So yeah, do me a favor, Uh, Answer those questions, do it for yourself. Do it for me if you need an accountability partner. It's definitely going to help you. And you know what, just because you guys, if you made it through this far in the video, I'm going to read one of my answers out so you can get an idea of how to answer these questions. So let me read my answer for what is your relationship with your parents like? What resentment do you hold against them and why? And how does this affect your other relationships? So I wrote, I just recently started rebuilding a relationship with my absent father. My mom, on the other hand, we have a good but weird relationship where she relies too much on my wisdom and opinion, and I rely too much on her for chores and activities. The only resentment I held, because I no longer have it, was my father's absence and his personality, which I loathed. And for my mom, it was her anxieties and being too weak to stand up for herself. This obviously affected my other relationships because it made me grow up with traumas, low self-esteem, and I never really stuck up for myself. So now the best place to find these questions, in my opinion, is Pinterest. You can literally just search shadow work or shadow work questions in the search bar, because Pinterest is essentially just one big search engine anyways. And if you're not happy with what you see there, you can go to YouTube and also search up shadow work prompts, and just watch a video, learn more about it, and start doing the questions. I recommend you do the questions daily. You don't need to do that many. You don't need to go through the whole picture of questions, like 10 questions. I did, just because I like being extreme, but if you were to even just do one question every day, then you would be making progress regardless. And one question a day is actually amazing. So yeah, I would try to do at least one question a day if you can. If you can't, aim for a minimum once a week, because that's better than nothing, and it will still help you go the extra mile. And I guarantee you, once you've done this, you are never going to go back to making the same mistakes before. You're never going to start doing things just to fit in, because you're really going to think about yourself and what you value. And also, if somebody ever talks bad about you or claims something about you, you now no longer have to be insecure about it, because you know yourself. You know you're not that person. You know you're not like that, which is also going to provide you with more confidence if you think about it that way, because now you actually know who you are. This is also a great way for you to find out what your purpose is, because once you get to know yourself better, you know what you actually like more, you know how things make you feel, and you can just put that all together and see which job or which career sparks interest in you and motivation, drive, whatever it may be. With this knowledge in mind, you can use this to transform your existing belief systems or past belief systems into new ones that are actually going to help serve you. And this is going to just be covered in a completely different video because it's a long topic. And if you guys want to see that one, definitely let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's basically the entire video. I hope this helped you. And as always, make sure to make yourself a priority.